Hello friends, we'll continue our discussions about relationship between managerial economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics. As we have discussed earlier, we are very clear now about the basic concepts of what is managerial economics, what is microeconomics, what is macroeconomics, and what are the areas that we study under microeconomics as well as macroeconomics and their relevance from the decision making and organizational point of view. What we will do today is we will now look at the relationship between managerial economics and microeconomics right now. We will also be touching upon the relationship between managerial economics and macroeconomics in the next session. So, let us start with our discussions about relationship between managerial economics and microeconomics. As we all know, managerial economics is essentially an application of microeconomic theory to real world business decision making. I repeat, application of microeconomic theory to real world business decision making. And what it does, managerial economics leverages microeconomic concepts like demand, supply, cost and pricing to help firms, individual firms, that is why micro, individual firms make choices about production, pricing and resource allocation. Resources could be, it could be money, it could be physical resources, it could be human resources, whatever. And while microeconomics provides the foundational principles, theoretical, managerial economics bridges the gap between economic theory and practical business problem. That is why it is application of economic theory to decision making at a firm level. Managerial economics, therefore, if I may say so, is basically a blend of economics and management. That is the word economics and managerial part of it. Two branches of economics, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics, are the major contributors to managerial economics. Microeconomics is the study of the behavior of individual consumers and firms. Please note the word individual. Microeconomics is the study of the behavior of individual consumers and firms, whereas macroeconomics is the study of economy as a whole. The term that we used earlier was aggregate, right? Now, all the firms which are operating in the market or marketplace or market economy have to take under consideration the constituent of economic environment for its proper functioning. It could be inflation, it could be monetary policy, it could be taxation, it could be fiscal policy, whatever. And then this particular economic environment is basically which constitutes what is known as the various elements of microeconomics. Microeconomics, therefore, forms the foundation of managerial economics, as almost all the concepts of managerial economics are the perceptions of microeconomic concept. In a way, not only perceptions, even derivatives, as we call in the financial part of it. Now, therefore, managerial economics can be perceived as an applied microeconomics. Basically, economic theory, then microeconomics, concepts, leveraging them for decision making. So, managerial economics can be perceived as an applied microeconomics. Like we talk of demand analysis and forecasting, we talk of theory of pricing, we talk of pricing strategies, we talk of pricing policies, we talk of theory of revenue and cost functions we talk about, then we talk of theory of supply, we talk of production function. Now, these are some of the major bare bones, as we call it, of microeconomics, which underpin the managerial economics. I mean, you cannot think of managerial economics and decision making without taking into account the factors or aspects that I just mentioned, like demand analysis and forecasting, pricing and theory of price, theory of revenue and cost functions, theory of supply and production. These are the areas I just mentioned. There are others also, but these are major core part of it. Managerial economics applies the theories of microeconomics to resolve the issues of the organization and for decision making. So, economic principles, management priorities, which are factored into ultimately the decision making part of it. All managers, as we know, want to carry out their function of decision making with maximum efficiency. Maximum, of course, desirable, actually we call it optimum. And it's a fact, I mean everybody wants to do that. Their business planning can be effectively planned and performed with comprehensive knowledge and understanding of microeconomic concept and its application. In fact, if I may say so, you will not be really able to take effective decisions as a business manager if you are not aware of the basic economic and microeconomic concepts, and from the managerial point of view, how to apply those concepts from the decision making and leverage it for the betterment and competitiveness of your organization. So, optimum decision making is what is required to achieve the objective of the organization. It can be profit maximizing, or it can be cost effectiveness or cost minimizing. These kind of things will be possible with proper compliance of microeconomic know-how, regardless of the technological constraints and given market conditions. You always, within that constraint you have to find out how to make best use of these principles for competitiveness and making your business organization success and profitable. Microeconomic analysis is important as it is applied to day-to-day dilemma and concerns. Pricing, supply, product mix, these are all typical examples of the dilemmas that a business manager would be facing when he is working in and with an organization. Now, let us typically look at the relationship between managerial economics and microeconomics. The focus of microeconomics is that it studies the behavior of individual economic units. Individual, that's the operating word. It can be a consumer forum, consumers, firms, and even individual industry also, and their interactions in markets. The goal normally is to understand how prices are determined, how resources are allocated, and how firms and consumers interact. Because ultimately your business will depend on the effective interaction between your firm services or products, and how they are received or appreciated and purchased by the consumers. The typical example could be analyzing consumer demand for a specific product, determining the optimal price for a new product, or evaluating the impact of a change in production cost on a firm's profit. Change could be both ways. Your cost of production could go up, which might result in sinking of the margins, but if you are lucky that the costs go down, then actually it will have a positive impact on the profit margins, as the margins will definitely go up. This is one of the major consideration, again based on the relationship between micro and managerial part of it. Another example could be how much you should produce, optimal level of production as we call it, and that optimum level of production will be with reference to optimization of profits. Although I have used the word maximization of profits, ideal thing is optimization profits. Then is also used for analyzing impact of new advertising campaign on sales. When I promotion, I mean advertising, I don't want my sales to go by 5 crores if I am spending 5 crores on advertisement. I want my profits to go by more than 5 crores when I am spending money on advertisement. That's the important part of it. So, analyzing the impact or effectiveness of a new advertising campaign on sales, or evaluating the profitability of a proposed investment project. Future, you talk of NPV, IRRs, the typical financial analysis, but ultimately as a manager you are taking decisions for the future, and you must be able to anticipate by evaluating the profitability. If it is not worth it, you simply should not go for it. Again, decision making, because it involves the allocation or blocking of valuable scarce resources. Then if you comes to foundation part of it, we can say that microeconomics provides the foundational principles and analytical tools that managerial economics uses. Right from inventory management to capital expenditure, capex, inventory, economic order of quantity, everywhere you will find that you are basically using these principles and analytical tools for managerial decision making uses. Application typically is microeconomics in business settings: pricing, how much quantity, supply, control supply, cut down supply, increase supply, discount pricing, premium pricing, what is known as, we have something known as markup pricing, markdown pricing. They are all applications based on basic principles of microeconomics. Then of course, managerial economics or decision making. It helps businesses make more informed and rational decisions by considering the economic implications of various choices. Economic, and there's slight difference between financial and economic. Economic are more long term, financial could be short term, as you must be aware. Then we also realize that there's a complementarity between these two, in the sense that while microeconomics provides the theoretical framework, managerial economics brings the theory to life in the business world. They are not only, what you call, it is not the back end, it is the front end. So, and in anywhere you need back end also, front end also. That's how it works. So, there's a kind of, they're kind of complementary to each other. Then, in essence, you will appreciate if I say that managerial economics is a specialized branch of microeconomics that focuses on practical application of economic theory to business decision making, using the tools and concept of microeconomics in the context of business environment and the choices and the objectives that the company or the business firm has to make. Then of course, there has to be some kind of relationship between micro, macro and managerial economics. Macroeconomics, as we said, we will be discussing managerial economics and macro down the line, but just for the sake of it, let us note that microeconomics studies the actions of individuals, consumers and firms. Managerial economics is an applied specialty of this branch. Microeconomics deals with the performance, structure and behavior of economy as a whole. Remember the word aggregate. And of course, managerial economics applies microeconomic theories and techniques to management decisions or decision making for that matter. Managerial economics and macroeconomics are intervened, with managerial economics applying microeconomic principles within a macroeconomic context. And as I said, right now the focus was on microeconomic and managerial economics. We'll be talking about the relationship between microeconomics and managerial economics as we proceed further in the next session, as I said earlier. So, managerial economics uses microeconomic tools like demand analysis and cost benefit analysis, break-even point, all those typical techniques to make business decisions, while recognizing and incorporating macroeconomic factors like government policies, business cycles and inflation. And macroeconomics provides the broader economic backdrop that managerial economics operates within, which we will be discussing down the line. So, with this we finish our core discussions about relationship between managerial economics and microeconomics, with a bit of introduction about the relationship and intervening between managerial economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Specifics about managerial economics and macroeconomics we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you. Till we meet again. Bye.